this is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Rumblings.
And today we are taking a look at Khora, Rise of an Empire, a new game from Iello Expert.
It plays from 2 to 4 players in about 75 minutes.
It does. I think this is the first game that has Iello Expert on it.
Yeah.
Because Iello usually makes like family style games, and this is a heavier game. So they decided to make, they might have done it before, but I don't think so. And made like an expert line of their games, which is cool, which makes they will be interested to make more medium style games.
I like
so
that.
Khora, Rise of an Empire is an action selection game in its core. You're going to play 9 rounds. Every round you are going to roll 2 dice, and those dice are going to show 1 to 6 because it's a normal D6. And then you have action cards in your hand from 0 to 6, and you're going to place them adjacent to your dice. If you place a action card that is higher than the dice, you will have to pay population to be able to do that action. So you are going to do those actions. You might unlock a third action throughout the game by moving on tracks, because there's tracks in this game, and basically going to do those actions. And the actions can be to do military actions, to explore and get these tokens that you need. You might be getting culture, which is, as always in these games, victory points, and you can do some kind of different actions, getting money and play cards and develop your empire to get better bonuses and better actions. And that's basically what you're going to do throughout 9 rounds. There's going to be events that trigger. You're going to see them at the beginning of the round, and they're going to trigger at the end of the round. Also throughout the round you will be able to move on the tracks. You have 3 tracks on your player board that you can move up to get better the different actions that you do. One action is economy, which gives you more money. One action is culture, which gets you more victory points. And one is military, which gets you more military dudes to go explore the countryside. And that is basically what you're doing in this game. So before we talk about the gameplay, as always, let's talk about the gameplay. No, the artwork and the components.
Yes, the game is set in the ancient Greece, and you all have your own faction with individual artwork. I like that. Other than that, there's not much artwork in the game. It's some of the tiles on the actions you play, and also on the politics cards that you play. But overall, the board in itself and your own individual player boards look, there's tracks.
Yes.
There's tracks, but I think it looks beautiful either way, and it's very few things to set up in this game. It's very simplistic, and it has a very nice insert in the box. So I'm overall happy with both the artwork and the components.
Yeah, I don't think it looks beautiful by any means, but
I think it looks nice.
I don't see how you can. It's basically, it's because it's the color of my heart.
Yeah.
It's beige.
Yes, beige is beautiful.
Basically, there's not much artwork. There's sort of graphic design, and graphic design works really well.
Very well.
The game is very easy to have. It's very easy to have an overview of the tracks, because the game is basically, the main board has 4 tracks and your board has 4 tracks, and then there's a place where you have a lot of tokens. You're probably seeing pictures of it right now.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so there's really not any artwork in the game except for on the card. So I think it's fine. But it's not why I play games. So it's not going to be like, the artwork is horrible, so I'm not going to play this game.
That is true. So
let's talk about the player count. It's going to be really, really quick. We only got to play these 2 players.
Yes.
We played it quite a few times because there's not that much interaction. So there's so many games that we need to play with more players. So there's like kind of choosing the times we actually get to play with actual human beings.
Yeah.
And some games we're just going to be able to play with 2 players. So this only played with 2. And there's not that much interaction, as I said, so we thought that was okay.
But we wanted to try all of the factions,
yes.
Because they play very differently.
Yeah.
So I think that when we played it with 2, because that was we have done. How much time have you
used?
It
took about an hour, 10 minutes average.
Yes, and they felt like very different each time we played, and I can see how the interaction will change with more people, and it will be some changes, but not some major in my opinion.
No, there's some few things, like for example the events that says the player who has the most military gets this, and the player who has the least gets this.
Yeah.
In a 2-player game, like all of these kind of things in 2-player games, it's 1 or 0. Or in a more player game, which is our favorite word for multiplayer game, you will be able to sneak in and do that. But then again, you probably won't choose an action that is bad for you to be able to go up on a track. You don't need to be able to not do that event.
Because you have few actions in this game.
Yeah, so we are segueing into gameplay, and is it fun? Which are the 2, or not the 2 questions, because gameplay isn't a question. So how is the gameplay, and is it fun? Those are the things we want to talk about.
It's fun. It's smooth. It's
And it has gameplay.
It has gameplay. It's very smooth. I'm sitting and thinking, and I want to do so much, and I can do very little. But overall, it goes very quickly by, at least with 2 players.
Yes.
And when we're at the middle of the game, I'm just like, oh, I thought we just started, because it flows by so fast, and there's so much I want to do.
Yeah, and I feel like the thing you're saying now is really important, because this is one of those games that has a very, if you play well, it has a lot of escalation.
Yeah.
So the first 4 rounds you're not going to be able to do a lot, and then you start actually being able to do better actions and get where you want to be.
Yes.
In the beginning, you're going to look at, for example, your city state and see the different things, the token symbols you need to move up on the track. That's going to be super hard.
Yeah.
Halfway through the game, you almost not started, and then you're going to get to it. One thing that is a huge part of the game, because the actions are pretty simple. You get money, you get points, you get military to then be able to take a token. You play a card, you develop your city. So those are very simple actions. And I said there are a few actions, but the way you play the game, I feel like is very not set in stone, but it's very told by what city you get at the beginning of the game.
Yes, because your faction can either focus on warfare, or on politics cards, or on trading, for example. And the powers that you can unlock by developing your city is very powerful.
Yes.
So you can go a different direction than your cities wants you to do. But I think that will maybe not be the best strategy. I think that going for the final scoring, or the abilities that you can get with your city is the best way to win your game.
Yes.
And when that is said, your gameplay will be highly influenced by the state that you pick. So if you're playing with the same faction over and over and over again, I think your playstyle will be very, very similar.
Yeah, and I will say like this, like some people don't want to do what their faction is, then this is not the game for you. Because I agree with you, like these abilities are so powerful and so good. I think like if I ignore that and just do whatever I want to and play some cards and see what happens, and you play your faction really well and do like a super optimized path towards getting those points, I think you will win. I'm almost sure that you will win almost every single time. But it also, like, because that's such a huge part of the game, it wouldn't make sense to play the game without focusing on trying to, like, if I'm super good at one thing, why would I do something completely different that I'm horrible at?
Yes, true. And you can find, like, ways to do things similarly, at the same time as you're focusing on your main strategy. You're doing maybe some of these actions, and that is also, like, I've unlocked, you can unlock a third die, which basically give you an extra action. I have moved up on that culture track to unlock that die without that being a part of my city strategy.
Yeah.
So you can do things like at the same time as well. I don't know what the word is.
No, but basically it's not a path. It's not okay, I choose this one, then I have to do these two actions. No. It's still about optimizing and trying to do the best you can with the actions that you have, and to be able to do the basically I like to spend the time most wisely. It's not like I play Thieves, for example, and then if you play Thieves, the next time you're not going to play the same game.
No.
Because of a couple of things. Of course, because you choose actions in different order, you choose to prioritize, okay, I got a super good card that's really good to play out first, or you really want to develop, and it's going to change up anyway. So I think like it would be no problem playing the same faction a few times, but maybe I wouldn't like to play the same faction like 3 times in a row. Because
that makes me go into the luck elements of the game as well, because some of the things that will change up your game is how you roll your dice, and also how your what kind of politics card you have. Some are final scoring, some are instant, some are ongoing effect, some are more useful to you than others.
Yes.
I think it's really clever that you draw 2 and choose 1 when you usually do like an action that tells you to.
I feel like most games now are getting to a point where if you draw a few cards throughout the game, you most of the time get to draw two and choose one.
Yes.
Like a super mini draft for yourself, which I think is way better than just drawing a card.
Yeah, I agree. And also in the beginning you have a draft, which I really enjoy. The dice, you can't manipulate the dice itself, but you can use citizens, which also is a track resource, to basically play higher cards than what you rolled. And at first I was just like, I don't like this luck. But then I think that it needs to be there for the replayability of the game, and also it has to be some luck when you're adding dice and cards to a game. It's not possible to do it any other way.
And also, like, I don't like the fact that you're saying that you can't mitigate the dice, but you can. That's the thing that the citizens do. So if you want to move on citizens and actually turn around the die, you could do that. Yeah. That's the only difference. And I would say, like, if you choose to play a game where you don't have any citizens, you start with 3 and you choose to not ever get citizens and just hope you roll high, you might win if you get lucky all the time. But then you also have to maximize that. And you not always want to do the higher actions, but the higher dice is obviously better. But you are going to play a game where you will get some of those citizens, and of course you can end up in a situation. It's really unlikely. You can end up in a situation where you roll 2 1s every time you roll. Or a 1 and a 2, or a 2 and a 3.
You can do that in any game with dice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't think it's any more here than in, for example, Castle Burgundy or other games that use dice. So it doesn't bother me at all, that thing in the game.
Yeah, and one thing also is that if you roll low numbers and you're going to war, then you have the first pick at what you want to do. Which can balance the game some, at least. Well, I think it's not problematic with the luck, because this is a fun and short game. It's not a 3-hour crunchy game. It has very interesting decision. I think, like, when I'm choosing my actions, because you do so few things, I'm just like, oh, I really want to do military this turn because that is my strategy, but I have this politics card also. This is really good, but I need a 5 on my dice and all I have a 3. Do I want to use citizens on playing this? Then I have a few for the next round, and I have to develop next round, and it's not heavy strategy based.
No.
But I've had like an overall plan for what I want to do the next rounds.
Yeah. I think one thing that you might dislike is that it can feel a bit repetitive, but that doesn't bother me because the game is so short. Because you might end up, the first time we played, I was playing like one of the heavy military, and then I think I did military action every single time of every single round, and I will never unlock the third action, which meant I was basically just choosing 9 actions throughout the game. I was doing military and I was doing something else, but still I had a lot of fun because I had to then, and I could have chosen not to do military, but I felt like it was important to me to get those tokens to do the things I wanted to do in the game. And since it's like an hour, probably an hour and a half, 1.5 hours with maybe 3 or 4 players if you play it a couple of times, I don't think it bothers me. And it really depends also on, you don't have to do what I did, but I chose to do that strategy, and then it was easy for me to choose. And it was a lot of fun. But the next time I played, I had to think a lot more, and I had maybe even more fun, but I had not little fun the first time, and I had even more fun the second time. And I think that so basically it's not super duper deep is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm looking at other things, it's obviously super good for me to do military, let's do military. And then what other action I want to do? I need money, I'm going to do trade. And that's the round. And it's super, super simple, but that's what makes this game so good for me. Is that there are good decisions, there's nice things to do. You can play different strategies, in the different factions, but they are forcing you a bit about what road you're going to go down. But you can choose to go like little side road and see what happens down there. Maybe you go way far and you'll lose, or you can go back to the road and you will win. And I think there's very much positive to say about the game. And is there anything you want to add, or should we do final thoughts?
Let's go final thoughts. I think that this is a game that might drop for me over time, because it is a little repetitive and not the deepest game. But overall, when I play it now, I have fun. I still have some factions that I have seen you play with, would not play with myself. I would think that if you explore all of the factions and you start like on the first faction again, I think you can look at that with fresh eyes.
Yes.
But we don't play a game super many times.
No.
For us. It's gonna be not a problem anyways.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good game. I'm gonna rate it as 7.5.
Yes, I really enjoy this game. I have a lot of fun while playing it. Fun is important to me. Like, fun is like, I don't need a super deep game. I don't need this. I just want to have fun. Like a girls just want to have fun, and I also want to have fun.
Yes.
Like in the song, and Johannes just want to have fun. Ba-da-ba. Yes, so I really have fun while I play the game, and for reasons I have talked about throughout the whole video. So if you're just skipping here, you have to go and watch the whole video. It's just like the decisions are fun. The moving on tracks is something I always enjoy. Like, tracks makes my heart sing. Weirdly enough, it's like, what do you enjoy doing? Tracks. Yes, but I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it for all of the reasons I have stated in the video. I'm going to give it an 8. Might drop, I don't know, but it's a very good game. If you enjoy a medium style Euro game with a bit of crunch but not super brain burning, I think you will enjoy this one.
Yeah.
And that's the end. If you are still here and you have not subscribed, you can do so now by clicking the
subscribe button.
It's free and it's fun for everyone. If you want to do something that's not free but still fun, you can go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us there. We do some behind the scenes videos, we have a Discord channel, and a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.